The market is red. That is what it is. But never trust a Sunday dump. This is what I tweeted yesterday. And even though that we do see redness, I do believe that this is the first relief rally that we have seen since October that is upon us and is going to happen. Whether it's happening this week or next week or in a couple of days, I don't know. But we do have a massive opportunity to see a relief rally. Now, a couple of things. One, the reason is, one of the biggest reasons why I think we have a rally is because not only on the higher time frame we have a confirmation. I made this tweet and I said this is the most important level to hold. I made this tweet 2 weeks ago and I said we should close above the weekly level. If you look at it on the total market cap, the market did close above the 2.31 trillion, which is a major demand zone on the total market cap down here. Not only 1 week, but also last week's close was above, even though throughout both weeks, the market went below that level. It is a very strong demand zone, and I do believe that this will hold. If you don't know who I am, my name is 𝗕𝗑. I'm on a ski trip, but it doesn't matter where I am. I do have a daily update coming to you every single day. Been here since 2016, trading the market. If I make 4% a month, that is 100 extra net worth in the next 10 years. So that is what I'm riding on. If you want very short, concise updates, even if I'm on holiday, this is the place. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get going. Now, very important. I've been back and forth on the fact that, is it going to be a long opportunity? Is it going to be a shorting opportunity? Very important as well that I have called the top in October, right? So in October 17th, I told you that the market is going down. And since then, we didn't really have a strong lower time frame confirmation for a potential bounce or a relief rally. But that changed because if you look at the market, even though it's divided, there are a bunch of catalysts. Not only that we have months of bleeding without any relief rally, possible pass on clarity soon, 1 hour and 4 hour and weekly confirmation for a potential reversal, the risk reward here is absolutely fantastic. Not only that, we do have accumulation addresses that seen the biggest, these addresses are the addresses that have been monitored, that has been accumulating Bitcoin for a long time. And these addresses saw a spike, a massive spike of inflows in the biggest in 4 years, which again shows that accumulation addresses are buying heavily. Now, Trump made the most important announcement in 2026. Trump said that the market bill should pass, will pass. They are on it. It's not forgotten. Takes time, but they are both, all the Trumps and Bessent and all the other people are on it. Now, all this combined with a macroeconomic situation, which is the job number revision. Now, the job numbers were revised again, which screams for a cut. That means that everything we thought was reality from last year going on to the job market is not. That is absolutely crazy because this means that the economy is not as strong as they thought it was, and that screams that a cut should happen. Now, whether that cut is going to be 75 basis point or 100 basis point this year, it still is extremely bullish. So macro-wise, everything should be looking good on a longer time frame. The only thing that can ruin this crypto pump, and I do believe that, is the stock market correction. Now, I said it a couple of times already. If you've been following the show, the way these shows are designed is that you have to come back every day and join in the Telegram. It's free. You join in, I share my thoughts, and we grow together in the market, and I share my mind, and you can take your conclusions from there. But I've been calling for a stock market correction for quite some time now. I hope, and I see that there has to be a 15 to 20% correction on the stock market for my thesis to play out, which will take Bitcoin to between, between $45,000, $50,000, $55,000. I hope they wouldn't get there, and I hope we get a bounce, and then the correction comes to go back down to 60. But whatever might happen, the stock market should correct for that $7 trillion sitting on the sideline to come in when rate cuts happen, which will happen. So that said, if the stock market starts its correction now, and unfortunately you see that potentially happening, the Magnificent Seven is now down on the year, and you see the S&P struggling at resistance. So it can happen that the stock market starts correcting now, and if that happens, Bitcoin is going to, 55, sub 55 potentially, whatever that might be, and then the bounce is ruined. But ultimately, I do think that the bounce should come. Let's look at the charts. So one very important thing I want you to see is the weekly level. So these levels are very important. You see here, this is a strong demand zone, and this strong demand zone has been respected 2 times already. 2 weeks we did not have a close below there, which signals massive strength in this demand zone. This demand zone last time, I made a whole post about this, you probably have seen it, but this demand zone has taken the total market cap up 83%, added about $2 trillion onto the total market cap from this level. So it's a very strong level. For the second time, we don't see a close below. That indicates that there is a very strong demand at these levels. If I go down to the 1 hour time frame, what you see is a V-shaped recovery. Let me just delete this here. A V-shaped recovery. So you do have a V-shaped recovery happening here. Let me show you the 15-minute chart. you do have a V-shaped recovery happening here in the 15-minute chart, right? A very, very strong V-shaped recovery. It's no mistake that this looks like this, okay? From there, what happens is that we push, the market starts pushing, and I've been saying, again, here on the channel, I've been saying that this should come back to a 50% retrace. It did come back to a 50% retrace. Very, very, very important. You've been here, so you know it. It came back at 50%. And when there was an hourly and a 4-hour market structure shift from that level, that made me think that this is the ultimate, the ultimate local bottom. That said, we have a beautiful market structure, and that said that I believe that this down here should be the bottom at 2.22 trillion. Now you can project that to all the other charts. You can look at Bitcoin, for example, same situation. 65,000 should be the local bottom. Ethereum, 1,890 should be the local bottom. XRP, 1.34 should be the local bottom. Solana, 76 should be the local bottom. So the ultimate bottom, now I do believe if these levels don't hold, I don't think this level down here will hold either. So if I look at Bitcoin here, if I look at Bitcoin and I say 65,000 won't hold, I don't think that 60,000 will. So then, you know, potentially it plays out that the stock market correction is happening, and then we're going to see it go down. But this is what I posted in the Telegram as well. This is, you should join. Link on the top of the description. This is what I posted. I said this is more likely than not. If it happens, we are blessed. I posted it at $70,000. Okay, $70,000 up here, and it did happen. Bitcoin had the correction down to the 50%, about a 4 or 5% correction down to the 50%. And guess what happened? It touches onto the 50%, and it seems to have some kind of a reversal here. This is exactly what I've been expecting. So I hope that this will be enough, and I hope that we can have a bounce here. Whether we go a little bit lower and then we bounce from there, or we bounce straight from here, we do have to have a bounce, and we're targeting up here at least 72,000. But ultimately, the reason why I say that we can have the biggest relief rally is because on the daily chart, the markets on any chart always retrace 50%. So if I look at this, the next probable level for Bitcoin to go to is 75 to all the way up here to 92. So this region up here is the daily premium zone, as we call it. Always want to sell in premium and always want to buy in discount. That's what the market makers do as well in the smart money, and this is how these concepts work. So that means that on the daily chart, as you could have seen previously as well, you can see here on the daily, we have traded this. We have shorted this up here. Comeback 50, rejection. Same situation previously here. Look at this. Comeback 50, rejection. So even here, comeback 50, rejection. It's always rejecting from the 50% level. That means that the probabilities, especially looking at the lower time frame, says that we are going to see a push to the 75,000, at least 75, 76,000 region, and then potentially reject from there. Ultimately, I do believe that the market is primed. I have taken long positions. Whatever long positions you might be taking, I've taken a hype long position, but also you can look at any other token that you might like and see the structure as I explained. If there is a structure like this where you have a higher high from the recovery after the 50%, and you do have a 50% pullback here, I do think it makes a lot of sense. Entry here, stop loss here. If we dip down to the discount, just keep adding to it. Now, obviously, I'm not a fortune teller, but I do believe that this is the trajectory that the market will take. As I said, I'm on holiday. Usually what happens here, I want to drop a video today so bad because this is a generation opportunity to do something with Bitfunded. I'm going to tell you what it is. I want to drop a video today. I will see if I have time. I'm going to be back tomorrow, Wednesday, and full force in the office. Otherwise, guys, obviously, this is the time when people are going to go ape shit and 100x leverage and they're going to wreck themselves. Don't do it. It is still a downtrend. I do believe we're still going lower, but there is a potential relief rally here that would be a shame to miss. So the probabilities are that we are going to pump, and if we are going to pump, I don't want to miss that pump. And especially if we start pumping and the pump can last to $75, $80, $85,000, and then the Clarity Act passes, I can see a possibility for Bitcoin bottom being in again. The only reason why I don't think it happens because the stock market needs to correct, in my opinion. If the stock market doesn't correct, I would be very, very concerned because that means it's up only, and that means that we're going to end very, very badly this year. So I just hope that we are going to see a relief rally, stock market before the stock market correction, then a correction with the stock market down to like 60, 55, 60, 65,000 on Bitcoin. And then when that happens, everything can bottom out around March, April, May, and then we can have a nice run up. Guys, truly appreciate you being here. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Join in the Telegram. There's a link in the description so I can update you even on this key track, and come back for another one tomorrow. Take care. Ciao, ciao.